can't touch this. You can't touch this. You can't touch this. You can't touch this. My music hits me so hard, makes me say, oh my Lord, thank you.
In a world where one man answers questions that you send in front of his tank, this has never, ever been done before.
Yes, it has. What's going on, YouTube? It's Jay Wilson, JWill07 on Instagram and Twitter. I wanted to address some things before I get to questions 1, 2, and 3 on Ask Away with Jay, episode 3. Yes, I wanted to address some things. First off, I want to say I'm really excited that there is a ton of question and answering series out here on YouTube because of one reason: collaboration. That means that whoever is looking for information can jump from channel to channel on this awesome association and get information they need. And if they go to one channel and the information's wrong, they can jump to another channel. Cool? Awesome. Now, the neat thing about this is if you see something that I say that's wrong, you correct me. If you see something that can be added, just like I believe Cyber Aquarius did on episode 2, add it. Please, comments, go crazy. This is an interactive question and answering. That's what I want to do. So you ready? Question number 1. Let's go. Question number 1 comes from Reaper Recon. Reaper Recon, his question was, I've got a fish, don't know the common name, and thought the fish had ick. Then the fish started acting really crazy, and it almost looked like the skin was deteriorating. Moved the fish to a quarantine tank, and not sure if the fish is going to make it. So there's no right or wrong answer for this because we don't have a lot of information. One, we haven't seen a picture of the fish yet, so that'd be something to keep in mind, Reaper Recon, if you can send a picture of the fish, if the fish is still alive. And so now here's some of the questions. I didn't know the answer right off the bat. The only thing I knew was potentially it was fin and tail rot. So I asked somebody that is very knowledgeable, and they said, here's a multitude of things, and I agreed. So here are some answers that could help you moving forward. What was your water quality in your main tank? Was the med tank set up right away and then you put that fish in? Was that fish getting beat up? If the fish just had ick, then was getting beat up, and didn't heal properly, the fin and tail rot takes over and then potentially could be what you are explaining. Then you move the fish to the med tank that we don't know if you just set up. That's a recipe for disaster. If that tank was already set up and we're talking pristine water conditions, the best practice is the moment you see that fish being picked on, you don't necessarily have to use medications. You just move that fish over and allow that fish to recuperate, less stress. You get the picture. Now, some of the medicines will be located right here because I can't pronounce them. So they'll scroll right here. Those are some good ones to use. Other than that, without a picture, it's really hard to say what's wrong with that fish. There are other diseases listed here that it could be. Can't pronounce those either. But I'm going to go with fin and tail rot if it did have ick. Now remember, ick looks like it has been sprinkled with salt. And chances are if you had ick in the tank, some other fish had ick in the tank also. Chances are. So I hope that answered your question. I hope that fish is still alive and that fish has done a 180. But I hope this video has got to you in time. Thank you so much for sending in your question. Now on to question number 2. Question number 2 comes from Adam. Adam's got a 75-gallon, 8 Africans in it. He's got a 406 with a DIY spray bar and a Penguin 305 or 350, I believe. Sorry about that. And he doesn't like the air bubbles. Adam, I would look at it and see if you can get the air bubbles away. There might be some spray bar hitting it, which is causing the air bubbles. But your question was, if I take away the Penguin, do I still have enough filtration? Technically, yes. But remember, if you're going to add more Africans, over-filtration is never a bad thing. So if potentially down the road you might want to add another canister, a smaller canister, or try to find a hang on the back that works for you. Because what I'm thinking is you've got that spray bar and you've got that hang on the back, and that water is rushing in front of that spray bar and it's causing those air bubbles. That's a thought. I haven't seen it. So if that's the case, you could shift some stuff around, maybe turn the spray bar down a little bit, play around with it. I'm sure you have already, but those are just some ideas that came off the top of my head. Again, you do have enough filtration. Maybe add, let's see, a circulator just for some current to kick it up, so that fluval could, kind of eat up some of the doo-doo, if you will. But you do have enough filtration with that fluval 406. I would just kind of look around just in case you do add some more cichlids. But 8 and a 75 with a 406 should do you just fine. If anybody else has any recommendations, please hit the comment. Thank you so much, Adam, for sending in your question. Now on to the final question, question number 3. Question number 3 comes from Gio. Gio said, "You're an inspiration." Gio, here's the deal. Look at all the other African cichlid tanks. They were inspirations to me, so clearly they're inspirations to you. But your question was, black or blue background, I've got a T8, don't really have the funds for a LED. Well, this is what I do. I don't like painting something because permanent is not my thing with my tank. Look at all my videos, look at my Instagram posts, constantly changes. So what I would recommend doing is getting a nice background that you can either use tape or whatever, and you can constantly flip it. I like blue because I feel it hides a lot of the particles, but black, some people say, brings out the colors of the fish. I'm on the fence with that because I think blue does just as great a job if your fish have the colors. So if you're not buying quality fish, then yeah, maybe black, but if you have quality fish, blue will be fantastic. My opinion alone, blue is the way to go, but if you're like me, buy one of those sheets that you can paste on the back and you can flip it whenever you want. As far as the LEDs, continue watching my videos. I do contests all the time. Just enter. I'm sure I'll have LED lights at some point to raffle off in a contest. So Gio, thank you so much for sending your questions. Appreciate it. Thank you everybody for tuning in to episode 3 of Ask Away with Jay. As always, it's a pleasure doing these. All we need is questions. I've got some more sitting in. I wanted to do 3, so this video was fast. Askawaywithjay@gmail.com. Keep them coming. The episodes will keep coming. I've got some surprises right around the corner, so stay tuned. Hit like, hit subscribe, share this thing on Google+, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, because as soon as I hit 2,000, I think something big is going to happen. Something you may like. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. Holla!